Hey guys, welcome to this new video. Today we're going to discuss something really interesting, which is something that you just have to understand, and it has to do a lot with math, and I'm going to break it down to you. The title of the video already says it: marketing versus sales, and why marketing wins every time. And I'm going to share with you guys on my whiteboard here on my iPad some examples of why everybody obsesses. What I realized is everybody obsesses over sales, right? Everybody's like, how much did we close? How big is our closing rate? How many contracts did we sign? What is the contract value? Everybody's obsessed about that, and everybody wants to improve it. Everybody's worried about how many sales meetings they get. Everybody looks at how many sales people they have. But funny enough, I think from working with hundreds of companies that even myself, I'm overestimating what sales can do for me, and I'm underestimating what marketing can do for me. Because if you look at the biggest companies in the world, there's a few biggest companies in the world. The biggest companies in the world, they don't even have a sales team. So the best of the best, like Apple doesn't have a real sales team. Like Cola, McDonald's, whoever you want to call them, they only have marketing. And all they need is marketing. But then there's the large middle. Like there's the top of the top. If you observe what they're doing, they're only focused on marketing. Most of the time, 95% of the time. And then you have the middle. And the middle is mainly focused on sales, on closing rates, on salespeople, on all that stuff, on how to close better, on how to make more money, all that stuff. And then obviously there's the ones at the bottom that don't care about anything, and they will lose anyways. But now we're talking about what you should be focusing on in your business, right? When does it make sense to focus on sales? When does it makes sense to focus more on marketing? And it's pretty simple. Let me just illustrate the point for you here on my whiteboard. Okay, it's very, very simple, okay? If you have a company and you're thinking, hey, I want to make more money, right? You're thinking, what is my next step? There's a very simple calculation that I want to show you guys right now. And it just illustrates the point between two people. There's person one and here's person two. Both of them are in the same position, right? And let's just say, to make it very simple, they both get 1,000 leads this year. So this year they got 1,000 leads. And they had both a closing rate of 10%. That means is both closed 100 deals. And let's say the deals is the same amount. So they made the same money. And person one decides, I want to focus on sales. And the second person is saying, I'm going to focus on marketing. Also, one thing about the marketing is, like, a lot of people, sales is easy. Why? Because you can measure it. And you can measure very simply if you're improving. If you do more sales, it's easy to measure. Right? It's not complicated, okay? And its easiest and simplest form is just getting people interested and generating leads. So marketing can actually be very easy to measure too. But marketing is such a broadly used way that people will believe that if you put a logo on your teacup, that's marketing. No, it's not marketing, okay? Marketing that's effective, and the marketing we're talking about, brings you more leads. Do you think by having a teacup with my logo, Haider Marketing on it, do you think I will get more leads? How high are the chances out of a scale 1 to 10? 10 guaranteed that you get leads by doing this, by having a logo on a mug, and 0, you will never get leads with this. Where are you? How much is this marketing action actually useful? Probably not. Let's be honest, because A, there's 2 reasons to this. Number 1, nobody cares about your logo. A logo is not marketing. It is not. You could send it as a present to potential clients. Yeah, that could be an idea, but that still doesn't guarantee, like, it's still a very low likelihood of you getting leads. And number 2, what I wanted to say is, I'm in my office right now here. Do you think anybody just walks in out of nowhere, not knowing where they are, not knowing they walk into my office and say, oh my God, I like this cup so much and this logo is so beautiful. Can we do business together? Nobody does that. So that means is that if you think right now in your head, oh, marketing is putting my logo on a cup, You couldn't be more wrong. It's kind of like saying to make more sales, all you have to do is talk more. And that is kind of like the same thing as if you say, just put your logo on the cup. That is not marketing. Just talk more is not actually selling and actually becoming better at selling and actually having results. Right? You can do a bunch of things that look like marketing, that look like you're doing sales, but they will not bring any results, right? So we're talking about, when we talk about improving your sales and improving your marketing, the goal for sales is a higher closing rate at the end of it, maybe even getting more leads to respond, like follow-up, improving your follow-up, how you talk to people. And on the marketing side, it's one thing only: more attention, and more leads. Okay? This is marketing. This is the goal of marketing. The goal of marketing is to get more leads. It's nothing else. Okay? Don't make it so complicated. So now we know what the target is. The target is to close more deals with the same amount of leads I get. So I become a better salesperson. I talk to the same amount of people. I talk to 10 people a day, but instead of closing 2, I'm going to close 3. So that is improving your sales. Improving your marketing means, well, I used to get 10 leads a day. Now I'm getting 15 leads a day. That is improving your marketing, okay? And there's 2 very specific goals, because what happens is most people will always try to make it more complicated than it is. It is not complicated. Let's do this, and this will illustrate my point why marketing is without a doubt more important than sales. The person number 1, we said, he will focus on sales. So he will still have 1,000 leads this next year. And person 2 said he's going to focus on leads. Now we have established that person 1 who focuses on sales gets 50% better. So he closes 15% of all deals, of all leads. This person hasn't improved. So it's a 10% rate. Still, how many deals are they both getting? This guy is still getting 150 deals, and this person is getting 150 deals too. So if you look at it from this perspective, they're the same. And you might ask yourself like, yo Sam, you said marketing is superior to sales. Yes, it is. Even though in this example it's the same thing, it actually is different, and it's actually more powerful. You know why? Because if now the number 2 person who just improved his marketing improves his sales by only 2% by any margin, so he goes from a 10% rate, he goes and gets to 12%. I don't even know how much that's going to be, 120, 180. So now he's at 180, wait. Now he's at 180. That's already 30% difference. 30 deals difference. And the only difference is that he went from 10% to 12%. And it already made a huge difference of 30 deals. Okay? If I would, on the other hand, add another 2% to the other guy and say, hey, he improves it to 17%, well, how much would it be? It would be 2%. He would get 20 deals more. So then he's only at 170. So you see already that he's falling off. He's falling off the cliff because it's just simple math at the end of the day. But if you look at your business, you always want to improve the top line. What is the top line of your business? The top line of the business, of any business, is revenue. And what is the top line of driving revenue, which will determine everything else, the amount of leads you get? AKA marketing. So if you want to focus on anything, you want to focus on the highest leverage activity, which is marketing in this case. Why? Because it's higher. It's higher up the list. Because if you can improve how many leads you get, you're less dependent on a great closing rate. Because that guy, let's assume this guy here at the 15%, he is really good. He's a master. He's amazing. He's the best. Like, nobody's as good as him. You know what he also is? He's also in a prison right now because he's the only one that can sell at 15%. As soon as he hires somebody, here, he hires a salesperson. That salesperson doesn't close at 15% anymore because that salesperson doesn't have the experience that guy has who's running the business. So now his closing rate goes from 15% down to 8% because that new sales guy is not as good as him. In that case, it would completely crush his business. He would go from closing 150 deals to 80 deals overnight, and he has to pay the employee a salary and a commission. So now he pays somebody else to do it, the sales. He pays the guy a commission, and that guy only performs at half of what he would perform himself if he would just take care of the leads. And that's where most people get stuck, where they say, hey, you know what? It doesn't make sense for me to hire anybody for sales because I'm the best one at doing it. Yeah, you're the best one at doing it, but it creates that prison. But that second person, on the other hand, if you really think about it, that other person is still at 10%. So how many leads would he get? He would get 8%. And let's say both hire one in the second year and both get a closing rate now of 8%, right? So the guy on the left hired somebody and that guy closes for 8% closing rate, and the guy on the right, the second person, also hired somebody for sales and both close at 8%. Number one, who's more likely to hire somebody in this case? Number one or number two? It will always be number two. Why? Because number two has so many leads, has an abundance of leads that he can afford to hire. He cannot even afford not to hire because he's losing so much money by being the only one talking to the leads. On the other hand, the other guy with 1,000 leads, he can still manage the volume by himself. So if you improve your marketing, you're more likely to hire actually somebody. And now think about this. How many deals are they both closing after they hired somebody? Let's say 1 year's over, now they're in the second year. They both did the same amount of deals the first year. So 2026, they both did 150 deals because they both improved by 50%. But now they're on the decision and both of them hire somebody to replace them in sales. And both now close at 8%, but the one guy has 1,500 leads, the other one still has only 1,000. So that other guy goes down from 150, he goes from having 150 deals to 80 deals, while that guy here has 80, still 120. So you can see already why marketing is superior to sales, because even though in the first year nothing has changed and both just improved 50%, it's very hard to hire somebody to get you more leads or to close deals at the same rate as you can do. This will never be possible. You as the owner, you as the CEO, you as the sales manager will always be able to close, should be able to close leads at a higher rate than anybody else. But that's why you trap yourself. But when you move up and you actually improve your marketing, you're not trapped by you knowing I need to sell because otherwise our closing rate drops and then we have a problem. No, you counteract that certain drop in closing rate, which is going to happen. You cannot prevent it. You cannot prevent that you're going to close more than somebody else, okay? Especially if you have any experience and you already worked in sales and you really improved and you really put attention into sales. It's literally impossible that performance will not tank for at least a few months. But if you have the sales ready, the marketing ready, and you have more leads coming and you focus on the leads, you can actually then hire somebody for 8% and not go down like the person on the left. Number one is probably going out of business because he has more cost and less deals, while this guy on the right has more cost, yes, because he needs to pay the salesperson, but he still has a good amount of deals because of the lead flow, and he can focus on what? Getting more leads. Getting more leads is the number one thing every day you should think about is, how can I generate more leads for my business? Because it is the highest impact thing. It influences everything else. I can give you another example to just make my point clear. If both Okay guys, so just another example. This is the leads. This is the funnel. Leads, sales, follow up, and then close. Right? So here, let's just say, to make it easy, you have 100 leads here, and your sales you close 10% at the end of this. So you make 10 sales. On the other hand, let's do this. Let's improve how many leads we're getting. If you get now 10 times the amount of leads, so you're getting 1,000 leads, and you close at 10%, obviously you're going to make 100 deals. You just improved something, you 10x'd something. Here, you 10x this. It's a 10x on the leads. You get 10x more leads than you got on the right. You cannot even 10x your closing rate. It's literally impossible. Try to 10x your closing rate and make your closing rate 100%. So if you keep the 100 leads, the one guy goes for 1,000 leads, gets focused on the leads and gets 1,000. The other guy still has 100. And the guy with the 100 leads wants to catch up with the guy that has 1,000 leads. It's impossible for him, because that guy closes 100 deals. That guy only has 100 leads. So he would need to close at 100% closing rate, which is impossible. It doesn't work. You cannot close at 100% here. So you see that actually with marketing, the only way you're going to be able to actually scale and make more money is by improving the first thing, which is the amount of leads. It's the most important number to improve. If you improve the number of leads you get, you make more deals. Let's just go back and we just say on the right, that guy now gets 300 leads. So now he makes 30 sales. Look how fast it went. All he did is increase the number of leads. Everything else stayed the same and he already tripled his leads. If he then improves his closing rate by 2%, now he's making 36 sales. But your closing rate only you can have the highest closing rate in the world. It will not make up for not having enough leads. Okay? If you want to have one thing in abundance, it's not abundant sales skills, it's abundant marketing skills, and abundant marketing skills to get abundantly leads, because you cannot make up for bad marketing for too little leads. It's impossible. So the person that will focus on improving his marketing skills will always win in the long run, because he is improving something in the business that has the most leverage. Improving your closing rate by 2% is 20% already. That is a 20% better return on your money or how you do things. That 20% is nothing compared to just improving how many leads you get. It's not even worth it. Like, before you try to improve your closing rate, improve how many leads you get. Just get more leads. Just get 10 times the amount of leads and keep the same closing rate, and you're going to have it's not even comparable. So at the end of the day, what I'm saying is, most companies focus way too much on sales. The first thing they think when the revenue is not what they want to do is we need to do more sales. Yes, you need to do more sales, but it breaks probably in 80% of the cases. The revenue is a lacking indicator, okay? Which means that if your revenue is down, it's because your sales are down. And why are your sales down? Well, it could be that your closing rate magically dropped from 10% to 3%. That could be a problem, but let's assume it's more or less the same. Then there's only one real true reason that you don't make as much money as you used to. It's because you get less leads. At the end of the day, the top of the food chain, the most important number to look at in your business when it comes, besides revenue and leads. Those are the most important numbers, because leads lead to appointments, appointments leads to closes, closes lead to money, and that's revenue. So actually, leads are more important than revenue, because you will never make revenue without having leads. And you will never have leads without what? Marketing. You can make money without sales, but you cannot make money without marketing. You can make money only with leads and zero sales skills. You will never make money by having sales skills and zero leads. And yes, obviously, If you're a good salesperson, you're able to generate your own leads. Well, but then you're already going where? You're already starting to improve the marketing. Why? Because you understand, as a good salesperson, you understand I'm actually not really limited by how much I close. I'm limited by how many people I talk to. And this is what happens to the good salespeople. They start to understand, they start in sales and they start to understand, hey, it's not actually about sales. It's not worth it to go from a 15% closing rate, trying to work my way to a 16% by training every day, by practicing, role-playing every day, to get 1% better. What I can do instead is, if I put the same amount of attention and time into learning marketing, I can double how many leads I'm getting. I can do outreach, and I can do my own outreach campaign as a salesperson and get more leads, and I don't have to practice actually to get better at selling. I just need more leads. At the end of the day, every salesperson knows this, and everybody realizes at some point that sales is you can optimize sales as much as you want, but there's a point where the diminishing returns. In the beginning, you get a lot of returns every time you improve your sales, but at some point, it's literally non-existent. It literally doesn't make any more money. But marketing, on the other hand, if you can get more leads and you improve and you improve and you improve and you improve, the money always follows the same way. So if I double my marketing skills and I double it again, my income will double every time I do it. If I double my sales skills, that doesn't mean that I'm making every time double the money. Because if I just close 5% more because I doubled my sales skills, but my leads are still low, that doesn't mean anything on a large scale of things. Okay, so that's why marketing is superior to sales. But because people in marketing make it so confusing, they talk about views and clicks and social media and how it looks and branding and how you position yourself, all this fancy stuff. At the end of the day, that's what sales is. Sales is not fancy. Sales is how much money did you make? How many deals did you close? That's what makes sales so nice, because it's no bullshit, straight to the point. And marketing, the marketing people have convinced us that we need to do 10,000 things to be good at marketing. At the end of the day, we only need to be good at one thing: get leads. If you can get leads, you're good at marketing, okay? That's it. It's so simple, but most people will shy away from marketing and rather improve their sales, not because they don't know marketing is more important. Well, they might not know it to the scale that I explained it, but they are just sick and tired. They're like, bro, I don't want a website. I don't want to think about a logo. I don't want my fucking logo on a mug. I don't need this. I need to make money. Okay, I don't want to spend money. I want to make money. And most people think that spending money on marketing is actually not making them any returns. Yeah, it's because you're doing it the wrong way. You're doing it with the wrong focus. So as long as you keep the focus, the main thing, which is marketing, how good you are at marketing right now, just look at the amount of leads you're getting. If you're getting a bunch of leads, you're good at marketing. If you don't get any leads, you're bad at marketing. And sales the same way. If you have a lot of sales calls, but you don't close any, you're a bad salesperson. If you have sales calls and you close them, you're a good salesperson. It's that simple. But the marketing people, they're smart. They have convinced us. But I tell you what, guys, at the end of the day, I have been a sales guy before. I love sales, this is where I started. Now we are really transitioning into marketing. The reason why I love sales is because it's so simple. It's easy, it's no bullshit, there is no fancy stuff in it. It's really straight to the point. Make money, okay? Close deals, make money. Close deals, make money. Close deals, make money, right? We all know this. Like, there's nothing better than closing a deal. On the other hand, marketing is like, oh, you need to do this and you need to do videos, but you cannot do any videos. They need to be special. They need to be this. They need to be that. There's so many rules, so much confusion, so much garbage and junk around it that most people quit on it before they ever get started. And I was the same. But at one point, you just realize marketing is the number one KPI is how many leads am I getting? Sales, number one KPI is how many deals am I closing and at what percentage? That's it, no bullshit. If you think about it from that point, you now have the ability to take what you learned in sales, if you're a sales guy and you already know how to sell, and take that simplicity that you probably like and love and apply it to marketing. So no, it doesn't matter how your logo looks like. Your marketing is not your logo. Your marketing is not fancy videos. It's not an image film. It's not some introduction of you. It's nothing of that. Marketing is only how many leads you get. Once you understand that, you're like, oh, it's actually easy. I can actually get leads. I can actually be good at marketing because all I have to do is get leads. But there's so many marketing people. I think their job is actually to confuse us all. That's how they keep their job. Their job is to make it so confusing and put so many rules in place that you don't even want to get started, so you hire them to do it. And they get zero results because their goal was never to get you leads. They think marketing is the muck. They don't understand that the muck is worth nothing. The leads are worth something. Okay, guys, so if you have been in that situation where you're like, bro, what is marketing? Leads, it's complicated. This is literally how I teach myself how easy marketing is. It's that simple. It doesn't have to be complicated. And I love simplicity. So cheers to simplicity. Cheers to more leads. Cheers to higher leverage. And cheers to breaking rules that some marketing people invented at one point, okay? You gotta break the rules of marketing. In sales, there's rules you don't break. In marketing, there are no rules. There's only one rule. Do you get leads or do you not get leads? If you get leads, break as many rules as you want, as long as you get leads. And once you get leads and you broke a rule, you probably break another one and you make more leads. Like, I have a feeling the more you break the rules that so-called specialists and marketing professionals say you should be using, the more you break the rules and you're actually just doing whatever to get leads, whatever it is you're doing, you just do it, you start to realize like that all the advice is garbage. So just go out there, get leads and close deals and make more money and focus on getting more leads. That should be your number one, number two, number three focus, because it precedes everything. If you get 10 times the amount of leads, you will make 10 times the amount of money. You don't have to worry about revenue. You have to worry about getting enough leads that you can actually sell to enough people to actually make the revenue you want to make. So you will never get 10 times the money out of the same amount of leads at the same amount of closing rate. You will not be able to do it. You will have to start like charging them 10 times more. Is that realistic? It's not realistic. It's more realistic to actually get 10 times more leads. The easiest thing too is to get more leads. People also like, something that I struggled with is like, getting more leads is the easiest thing. Like, yeah, of course you can improve your closing rate by role playing every day and become even better at selling. Yes, but getting leads is easier than doing that. So why are you not doing the easiest thing that you could do to make more money? That's a question you have to answer. I hope you liked the video. I hope you took some insights, and yeah, like, subscribe if you're new to the channel, and have a good day. See you. Bye.